Hi, I'm Josh, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the book buying ban that I've had for myself this last year, and about all these books that I ended up adding to my TBR regardless. But believe it or not, I still consider this a success. So, the year's 2021. I had a goal for myself this year, as I said, not to buy any new books to add to my TBR. It's a very particular goal. I don't mind owning books. I love books. I want more of them. But the problem was in 2020, I just started buying way too many. Once I realized I could, especially when I found some good deal businesses, I just kept buying. So I approached this year with a goal that, okay, Josh, you can buy a book, but you have to have read it first. Or you have to read the ones on your shelf. So basically, if I read something on NetGalley, sure, I can do that. And I can listen to something on audio, that is, before I actually buy it, or theoretically get it from the library, but I never do that. But my point was to avoid buying a book that I intended to listen to later because it's so easy to overestimate my abilities, basically. And that's how I ended up buying, to give you the number here, 467 books in 2020. Yeah, that's a lot of money and a lot of books. For what it's worth, as of November 2021, I got that number down to 332 books left on my TBR that I have yet to read. And that means I have either read or on hold or given away, which is still in hauling, over 130 books from my TBR just from 2020, which I think is a good sign. This year, as you will see when I do my wrap up of stats, I did a lot of focus on my TBR, which is good. So I think the goal of this ban has been somewhat successful, even if I did end up ascertaining 20 new books that ended up on my TBR at least for part of the year. Now, of those 20 books, 7 of those were pre-orders. And when I made this rule, I did rush to make some pre-orders because I knew I'd want to get these books. So I was like, okay, I have an exception to my rule, conveniently, that I can pre-order a book that comes out in 2021, and as long as I pre-order it before the new year, it counts. And so that constituted 7 books. Of these 7 books, I read Sorrowland and Across the Green Grass Fields. The rest I haven't read, so did I really need to pre-order them? I think not. Then 4 of these were gifts. I say a gift. Technically, this one, Madam Speaker, by Suzanne Page, about Nancy Pelosi, was an ARC that I got from the publisher. This was, in fact, the first ever ARC that I ever got gifted from a publisher physically, and I am still so excited about that idea. I finally found someone who said, sure, here's a copy. Maybe it's because Susan Page isn't a mainstream author, at least on a booktube. But I was so happy to get the opportunity to review this. So great. But so that was one. And then these other 3, 2 thrillers and a contemporary. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera right. Damn it, Josh, I can't. The perspective's all off. Here we go. These were thrillers, or the 2 thrillers were gifts from my stepmother. This one, Frederick Bachman, was also a gift from my stepmother, except she bought this brand new for me, and I was supposed to read this within 6 months of when she bought it, which technically was July, so my 6 months is coming up fast, if not already here. Then there were 2 thrillers that she already read that she gave to me, which I'm very appreciative of. Thank you if you're watching this. And I swear I'm going to read Anxious People. Maybe I'll try to fit it in my TBR this month. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I swear I will get to it soon. I'm sorry I didn't get to it right away. I'm sorry. I said if you bought it for me, I'd read it, and I will. I promise. It's just so hard not to. But the point is, 4 of those 20 were gifts. That leaves me with 9 actual books that I bought. And why did I buy these? Why, of all the books that I could have bought that I wanted to buy, did I buy these? Well, let's start with the easy ones. First, we had Dragons of Eden by Carl Sagan. This is one I already owned on hardback, and then my sister borrowed it or had it for a while there and it got wet, and I figured you could just have it. And it wasn't getting carried anymore. But after I picked up my reading more, I started reading more, I figured I want to get to his entire collection. So I picked it up again. I figured it doesn't really count if I already owned it and then gave it away and decided I wanted it back. Does that really count? Yes, it does count, but that's why I bought it. Then the other one that I have an excuse for is Octavia Butler's Dawn, book 1 of the Lilith Brood trilogy, series rather. And I thought to myself, I've been reading every book since after Kindred for the Octavia Butler Slow Read. I'm certainly going to read this. So I'm just going to buy it now, since I was like, I'm not sure why I got it. I think it was there in person, and I get it. I did not read this. This was when I decided I need a break from the slow read, and I'll return to it after they finish this series. So now it's on my TBR, and I have not read it. And then the other 9, actually, not the other 9, the other of these, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these, these 5 rather, I got while I was visiting Washington, D.C. And while I was there, I stopped to see Erica from the Broken Spine, and she thought it'd be fun to take me to bookshops. And I agreed, and it just seemed like a special enough occasion, and it seemed like a waste not to take advantage of the unique experience. So I gave in, and I bought books that stood out to me, and most of them were nonfiction, but they were good deals. And so yeah, these will all be either have been hauled or will be hauled. These here should be in my Washington vlog whenever that goes up. And then finally, these 2 books, which I haven't actually hauled: Consciousness Explained by Daniel Dennett and Stephen King's from Buick 8. Why I continue to buy Stephen King, I'm not quite sure. Like I still have this dream of reading all of his books, even though I've sort of become what's the opposite of enamored? I've sort of lost the love I used to have for him, but I still want to get through his work. It's one of those that I think I'll enjoy it well enough. It'll be fun. And so I got this, and I got this because why? I was visiting a bookshop that I had been donating money to during the pandemic, and I had store credit, and I figured I might as well use the store credit. And so I did it, and I got these. That was my exception. And also, it's like a slippery slope. You do it once, you do it twice. You better wise up, Janet Weiss.
I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. You better wise up, Janet Weiss.
And that's why I got this. But now we're here at the end of the year, and I don't plan on buying any more books. I did a reflection that you will see after this video, hopefully, of all the books that I wanted to buy. I added to a wish list, and I've since gone back and I've reviewed that wish list, and I've ranked every book in that wish list by which ones are still excited to me. And of those, like 20 of them really, really stood out. So keep an eye out for that video if you're interested in which books I wish I had bought, even though I did buy these. So big picture, I think this was a pretty successful goal. It's hard to say. I'm going to maintain the goal for 2022. No new books to add to my TBR. And since I'm not buying books this year, that means I can't pre-order anything. That said, there's a caveat, which is that if I read something on NetGalley, like listen to it or read it there, I'll buy a physical copy after I've read it. I don't mind buying a book after I've read it. There's no reason why I couldn't just read something and then add it to my TBR and just ignore my TBR together. And in fact, I did read at least one other book, which was book 2 of the Over Under series by Seanan McGuire, and I added that to my, I haven't added it to my TBR yet, actually, but that was one new release that I had not pre-ordered that I absolutely could not wait to read. All these other new releases that I pre-ordered, I clearly could have waited, but while I did that, and while I could see it getting out of hand, I think that the incentive to read a book that I physically own is still strong enough right now that it's okay to let myself read the occasional book that's not on my TBR, whether it be because it's a new release or a themed video that I want to do. As long as I've read it, then I'll do it. It's not that I hate owning books. It's just that I hate adding books that I end up pushing off because something else excites me. I have to pace myself, and that's the goal here. And I think it's working. Like I said, I've gotten rid of over 100 books from 2020 that I bought. My TBR is below 500, it was above it for a long time this year. And my goal next year, I'll be getting it under 400. And meanwhile, though, I think this was a pretty good year. Even though I did break my ban, it had its effect. It gave me a large filter to help me from buying books. Now, if you wanted to get me a gift, go ahead, particularly my family. The wish list video I have coming up, that's for you, family. I know a lot of books that I want. These are the books that I really want. Keep an eye out for that video. In the meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed this one and this sort of discussion about my book buying ban, whether or not it was successful. Like I said, I think it was. Let me know your opinion. Do you think I failed? Because technically I did buy 20 books. I just, respectively speaking, I did succeed. Literally orders of magnitude less. So, thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day. And until next time, hope you all stay safe, and I will see you later.